quarterbacks Blake Bortles and Ben Kirk to the mix. We got someone that knows a lot about the situation, Greg Jennings. You spent 7 seasons in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. He's still a quarterback. You in or out on there being an acceptable return for the Pack in a Rodgers trade?
Well, I'm out if I'm the Green Bay Packers, but this is obviously getting even more serious than some of us even possibly even thought. At least myself, I knew it was serious, but when it comes to the Packers starting to entertain what they would be willing to accept in return, Aaron Rodgers has dug in deep without even publicly having said anything. So they, I'm sure, are fully aware of his stance and how firm his stance is, and are having to consider looking at other options. Now, yeah, if you're the Packers, I'm out because I don't have any other option. I want Aaron Rodgers to be my guy. You were wrong with Jordan Love. It is evident that you were wrong with Jordan Love, because if you were fully in, Rodgers could walk away, and that you have a guy that you took in the first round, you moved up to take, and you would have prepared him. But they know he is not ready, and they don't have anyone in sight in their possession that can fill the void that Aaron Rodgers will leave if he is absent of the Green Bay Packers under center. And so for that reason, I'm saying the Green Bay Packers should be out, because they should not allow Aaron Rodgers to get anywhere outside of that building unless he retires, period.
So I think that's probably right. They obviously should do everything they can to keep him. But I think to answer this question, am I in or out on the quarterback being an acceptable return? That's the only way it's an acceptable return. So I'm in on that. Like, listen, there are 3 Aaron Rodgers trades that don't totally just ruin the Green Bay Packers. You trade Aaron Rodgers for Lamar Jackson. You trade Aaron Rodgers for Baker Mayfield. You trade Aaron Rodgers for Kyler Murray. Those are the 3 teams that if you really think you have to trade him, you should be calling and saying, listen, you are going to give up youth in order to be the Super Bowl favorite or co-favorite or close to it, which any of those teams I would think would say, well, we love our guy, but with the defending league MVP, we take a giant leap forward and we can win the Super Bowl this year. Where the Packers are screwed is this. If the person who would make those phone calls is Brian Gutekunst. The reason we are in this position is because Brian Gutekunst traded up to get his quarterback in Jordan Love. By making this trade, you would be admitting that was a massive error, because now you are trading for a guy, young quarterback, to leap Jordan Love. So if I am a Packers fan, the only way I can at all stomach an Aaron Rodgers trade is if we get a quarterback back in return, because if you trade for draft picks, the team that ends up you're trading with now has Aaron Rodgers, so those are going to be bad draft picks. So you have to get a quarterback back. But I think for the GM there who would be executing this trade, LeVar, that would be admitting he screwed this up massively. So I feel like there's no wiggle room for the Packers as long as Gutekunst is the man in charge of all of this.
Yeah, listen, I'm out. I'm out on this, and it would have already happened if the speculation things that keep coming out about the relationship were true. It would have happened. So I'm out on, and that's my first reason I'm out. Let me put it to you in simple form, people out there watching this amazing show. We all have a friend, and we have that friend that they think they're closer to you than what they really are. And when you're with your other friends that are really, really close to you, and you guys know you're close, when you're not around that friend that isn't as close to you, you'll be talking about them, and you don't always say the most flattering things about them, right? You talk trash about them, but they're still your friend. Then some way, somehow, the friend finds out that they're being talked about, right? But then they come to you and they say, were you saying these things about me? And what do we always say? No, I didn't say that about you. Why would I ever say something like that about you? Because you know what? Even though you're not my best of friend, you're my friend. We're okay with still being friends. This Green Bay Packers Aaron Rodgers situation is a classic. They're friends. They're just not the best of friends. We can still coexist. We can still be cool with one another. And you know why I use the friend analogy in this situation? Because no one is owning what they're saying, Wilds. Not one side will sit there and say, you know what? This person said we're seeking a trade and we have to have a quarterback. It's reports, speculations, no confirmation of somebody saying it. Aaron Rodgers is wanting to go. He's dug in deep, as Greg said. He's in for the long haul to not play for Green Bay. But we haven't heard him say it. They're good friends. They're just not as good of friends as they think they are. They can coexist together. They'll move it forward. I'm out.
Yeah, so sorry my energy's down a little bit, Jen. I think LeVar was talking about me and him's relationship.
I didn't say that about you, Wilds. You found out what I said. I didn't say that.
Wilds,
Jenna, did you snitch? Come on.
No, but my friend Allie was like, do you think he's talking about me?
No, I think he's talking about me. It's all good. It's all good. I do agree with you in this respect, LeVar, that the Packers need to come out every morning and just have a press conference to kill all these leaks. If it's not true, then you have to be up there every single morning and be like, hey, here's the thing. We want Aaron Rodgers back. It would be a big public show of support, and just you'd be able to squash any rumors. It's the only way you're going to get Aaron Rodgers back in your good graces. Greg, my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory is this, though, for food for thought. If I'm trading for Aaron Rodgers, I have to include my quarterback. I'm like, and by the way, you got to take Drew Lock. We can't have any. We can't have any competition for the guy. So wherever team Aaron Rodgers, like, you know what, Derek Carr, you got to go. You got to take Derek Carr because I can't have Derek Carr in the same quarterback room. I want to keep Aaron Rodgers as happy as possible.
Yeah, for me, Nick, I'm with you. Yes, the only way this works is if the Green Bay Packers get a quarterback. Now, Wiles, to your point, when you talk about the Green Bay Packers getting out in front of it every single day, it can't just be Matt LaFleur. We all know how Matt LaFleur feels. Correct. We know exactly what will allow his offense to thrive. That's Aaron Rodgers. It has to be Gutekunst and Mark Murphy. I mean, they need to literally stand up every single day, hold hands, just admit that you were wrong. And all of this would probably wash away. But so many people are so stuck on their pride, and I think that's what the Green Bay Packers are doing right now. They're stuck on what they've done. They want to see it through. They want to see if it will work instead of saying, you know what, let's eat some humble pie. This guy has still got way more in the tank than what we thought because of the things that we've done. Let's move forward.
Greg, I got a question for you. Let's keep Greg on the screen for a second because something important happens. I think it's a week from today or a week from yesterday, just coming up in a few days. And that's when the little mini camp OTAs start. Rodgers won't be there, almost assuredly. Jordan Love will be there. If Jordan Love looks terrible, do you think there are Packers players that make sure that is known amongst their media sources as a way, because I'm sure the players want Rodgers back in the fold. So if Jordan Love has a rough camp, I'm not asking if you would do this, but like in your experience, either within the organization or just as a player, if Jordan Love, it's like, oh my God, this guy, because last year he wasn't good enough to be the backup, couldn't beat out Tim Boyle. If he doesn't look like he's taken a massive leap, do you think we find out about that through, team leaks, and that potentially moves this negotiation, if you will, in one direction or the other?
I do think we find out about it because the media is going to be asking, and guys aren't going to just blatantly lie. Now, we will politically correctly answer a question, but for instance, the guy who's going to be most impacted is Devontae Adams. And so if he's on the other end of that, and he's not receiving that ball when he needs to, or it's not in the place that he wants it, or it's not to his liking, then eventually he will become irritated with that. And he's going to say things like, you know what, he's going to be good. I think he's going to be great, but he's not where he needs to be right now at this point. Hopefully we can get Aaron Rodgers back into the building. He's going to start saying things like that. That would let us know this young man isn't ready. But we don't even need to get to that point because Matt LaFleur and everybody else is telling us he's not ready.
And Devontae already has. Didn't he just a few weeks ago say, I got to weigh my future if Aaron